Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Welcome Back to the Bedside, because I just need to be honest and say that I get much better lighting here in my bedroom than I do in my office, so some days I might have to resort to this. I personally don't hate it. It reminds me of the good old days of YouTube when it was a lot more casual, but yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys understand. Camera lighting is actually not the main focus of this video. It is actually a weekly wear, as you probably read in the title and thumbnail, and it's on this guy. This is the Dermablend Professional CC Cream Continuous Correction Full Coverage CC Cream with sunscreen. I don't believe I've tried anything from Dermablend before. I think I've always been scared of it because it's supposed to be so high coverage that, to me anyways, it just always looked like it was gonna be mask-like. However, when I heard about and read about this CC cream from them, I was intrigued enough to want to test it out. They say it's the new CC. Ping! It has SPF of 50 in it. It has great reviews, at least on Dermablend's website, and it is $39 for a fluid ounce of product. I don't remember the shade range being so limited, but here it does look like there's only 16 different shades to choose from, which, especially with a full coverage, you know, it doesn't have the, could I say malleability here? But, you know, it doesn't have the ability to stretch across a number of skin colors, such as a sheerer foundation or something like that. No, this just has to be your shade. But anyways, this is a #1 dermatologist recommended brand. It's got skin tone coverage, correction, and protection. The protection being sunscreen, the correction being that it's actually supposed to improve our actual skin over wear or after time, but it's going to be weightless and breathable and give a perfectly balanced and undetectable full coverage. That's a claim right there. Without clogging pores or weighing the skin down, it is fade defying up to 24 hours, and it's gonna stay comfortable and true, allegedly. Plus, it's got a blend of antioxidants in here, one of which I have no idea how to pronounce. The others, niacinamide, vitamin E, and caffeine. How to use a simple pimple. We have just got apply and blend. You can apply it with any tool you want, and you can then blend it with said tool. Yay! So, I picked up the shade 20N, Fair to Light 1. We shall see if this is a good match for me in person here, at least based on this square. It looks like it's gonna be a little light on me. Ah, but in the bottle it actually looks kind of perfect. So, as always, glasses wearers of the world, I got you. Primer wearers of the world, I got you. In subsequent days of filming. Today we're going no primer, but sponge and brush users, I got you. We're gonna try out both methods to see which one has the best results, at least on my heavily, it's not, is it heavily? I don't know. I've got some blemished skin going on, for sure. Like, I'm not trying to deny it. This was just agony, so hopefully that heals soon. I'm sure putting makeup on top of it is gonna help. Ooh, it's also cruelty-free. I didn't realize that about Dermablend. Now we've just got a skinny application tube, which, I mean, I think you guys know what's up. Although I guess since I'm doing half and half, I can only be a half cat for now. I do like these skinny application bottle things. But let's see, it definitely smells like sunscreen, that's for sure. I also somehow forgot that this is full coverage, so I probably put on way too much. However, we're just gonna do our best with what we made for ourselves here. It's definitely giving coverage. It is blending okay. It looks like it might be having a little bit of trouble on my nose, but I might have just applied way too much. But okay. Now, let's go ahead and see. I do feel like this side of my face is far more blemished. Let's put on, it's probably the exact same amount as I just did. Whatever, let's see how this does with a sponge. I'm gonna assume it's not as much coverage. But, like, that's good to know for people who want a sheerer effect. Maybe you don't have these large blemishes on your face that you're trying to cover. And voila! I would honestly say that it blended much easier with a sponge, but like I said, it did shear it out quite a bit. Like, it took it from a pretty much full coverage to like a light medium coverage. More on the medium side, but a little light. So I'm gonna try and build this up a little bit here on this side. And then I'm also just gonna blend out a couple of areas on this side. Boom! Nicely done, Dermablend. I think, anyways. I think it looks great. Definitely, it looks like I'm wearing foundation, but in a really natural sort of way. As in, it looks like I'm wearing foundation, but it doesn't look like I'm wearing a full coverage foundation, which is very far from the truth because I had a lot that I covered up with this. I was able to use it as like a spot concealer. I was able to build and blend, all that lovely stuff. It has a very slight dewy finish to it. Maybe it's more on the satin side though, I would say. And overall, it just looks really nice. It feels lightweight, so I am definitely curious to see how this is gonna wear throughout the day. I'm gonna go powder my face, do the rest of my makeup, all that good stuff, and then I'm gonna live my life, and then I'm gonna check in with you guys at the very end of the night. Ready? Ding! Hello everyone, good evening. It's the end of the night here. I am sweaty. I just brought a bunch of stuff out to my car to bring to Goodwill and put in storage, so what a way to find out if this stuff resists sweat. I don't think it does because I'm kind of seeing it coming off on my fingers, but that being said, here, have a closer look. It doesn't look awful, my friends. It actually looks pretty darn good everywhere, except for the areas where I'm sweating, in which case I feel like you can see it kind of just dripping right off. Which, I know, so cute, but otherwise it has felt so lightweight. Even as I am perspiring here, it feels very lightweight and comfy. I just, you know, I know that it's coming off now that I'm sweating, but besides that, I mean, it hardly looks like it faded at all. So I'm super impressed. I'm super excited. I'm super hot and sweaty, so I want to go take this off and go to bed, but I'm excited to keep on testing this. I think it looks really, really great here, and I'm excited to test it out with you guys further. So I'm gonna get going, live my life for a couple more days, and then I'll be back in just a second with the results. Ready? Ding! Hello everyone, good evening. It's the end of the night here on day 3 of testing. I'm in one of those states of minds right now where I'm like, what day is it? What time is it? I know nothing. I don't like it. Thankfully, I have these wear tests sometimes where I can be like, ah, day 3, I know exactly what day it is. Can I speak English? Not quite. But do I know what day it is? We're getting there. So let me tell you what happened on day 2. I went ahead and used my Glam Glow mattifying primer to see if that would help with the sweat and oiliness and that sort of a thing, as well as my Too Faced full cover concealer. I know it's been a while since I've used that one. And then once again, I just did my cat face. Of course, you have to when your foundation comes in this kind of a bottle. You just have to. And then I blended it out with a brush and a sponge. It went on nice and smooth, everything. Once again, I thought it looked real nice, blended super well, didn't look cakey, but it was still full coverage. So I personally thought it looked quite nice. And throughout the day I thought it was feeling good and everything, but I was noticing transfer onto my fingers. And also when peekabooing into the mirror, I saw that it had definitely transferred and had gathered and rubbed off in my nose creases and under my glasses on my cheek, because apparently I was just smiling a lot that day. Granted, at the end of the night, I thought it looked a lot better than I expected after, you know, noticing the transfer and the glances that I had taken at my face. However, it was definitely quite shiny overall, and there was wear on the nose, and like, you know, there usually is for me anyways, and it also just wiped straight off because sweat, joy, rapture. on to another day of testing. So today I thought maybe it just wasn't reacting well with the mattifying primer, so maybe it needs something more hydrating, if a primer at all. You know, maybe this is one of those foundations that just works better on its own without a primer, but I was still gonna test it here with a moisturizing primer today, so I went ahead and used my Smashbox moisturizing primer as well as a concealer. I don't remember which one it was off the top of my head. Was it the Tarte Creamy Shape Tape? You guys will see it on screen. Did my cat face once again, did the brush and the sponge once again, and once again. I thought everything looked really nice and smooth and full coverage, but still really slightly natural for it being full coverage. And throughout the day here, I haven't gotten sweaty or anything, at least not that I've noticed. I got a little overheated at the end of the night here while I was watching some Netflix, and Fig was just being an absolute radiator on my lap, but other than that, you know, it was just a normal day, and I did get quite oily, so it made me want to not touch my face, but even then I can still see this is pretty much rubbed off of one of my nostrils. But aside from that, I mean, I look super shiny. Like, it looks like I'm actually sweating right now a little bit, minus the drippage. But aside from that, I mean, it all looks pretty dang intact and not too bad. So, sorry, apparently my AC heard me talk about being hot from having Fig on my lap. Hopefully that's not too loud here. I'm getting into testing, you know, now that I'm in my new place. I don't know how much the AC is or isn't gonna pick up, so if it's awful in this video, I apologize. It won't happen again. But I think that's about all I can tell you guys. I'm a bit conflicted here. I do have pros and cons, as always, so let's go over those and we'll see if I can sort out my feelings and hopefully give you guys some nice bullet points to take home. For the pros, there are definitely some of them. I think that it blends and applies really nice and easily, not a struggle, doesn't dry too quickly or anything. I also love that it has pretty much a full coverage, but yet it doesn't look heavy or cakey or anything when you first apply it, or really ever. I don't think anyways, I don't think it ever really got cakey looking. It looked like I'm wearing foundation for sure, but for a full coverage foundation, it looks pretty dang nice, I think. It looks like a natural full coverage. And then throughout the day, I would say it's mostly lightweight. If you have oily skin like me, once your oils come out, it is a bit tangible on the skin. You know, I can tell that I'm wearing foundation, but it's not heavy or bad feeling. I just can tell I have on makeup, but not in a bad way. And also, it lasts pretty darn well. I mean, aside from a few problem areas, this all lasted almost 12 hours. Like, I think it looks pretty good, all things considered, and it has for the past few days. Now, that being said, there are some cons. First off being the shade range. It looks okay, but like, what was it, 16 shades? 12, 16? I think it might have been 16. You know, there's room for improvement there for sure, especially when it is such full coverage. You don't have as much wiggle room if it was more of a sheer cover. A huge con for me though is that with sweat, this wipes right off and drips right off. It doesn't necessarily look horrible, like you can't see drip marks or anything afterward, but like, it's coming off. You know, you wouldn't want to, I mean, do you want to take a shower with any kind of foundation on? I don't know your priorities, okay? I just personally would say if you're a super sweaty person, this might not be for you. And so for me here, like during the warmer months, probably not going to ever go near this, or on days where I know I might be doing some heavy lifting or lots of exercise or something, like, I don't know. I wouldn't wear it on a day where I know I'm gonna be extra sweaty. But if you're not super sweaty and maybe you just have oily skin like me, another con is that it does transfer. It's not necessarily super noticeable. On my nose it is for whatever reason. The rest of my face where it transfers, you can't tell that it wiped right off, but that is something to consider. And like I said, I think it has to do with my oils. And then at the end of the night, I mean, it can look super oily regardless of whether I wear no primer or primer, and whether it's a mattifying primer or a moisturizing primer. Like, it's just, it's a bit oily. Now granted, we could probably take care of this with some blotting papers or some powder, but I mean, at this point I'm just ready to go to bed, so like, why bother? But you know, if you have more oily skin than me, it might be something to note because it might get more oily sooner on. However, there we go. Can you guys see where I'm a little conflicted? I mean, I'm definitely conflicted, but like definitely okay with keeping this in my collection and still using it because I'm not mad at it, except for the sweat part. That's a big bummer for me, being a sweaty person. But I'm certainly curious to try this as a mix-in to add some more coverage. I love that it's got such a high SPF to it. I love that it's supposed to be good for my skin. And just overall, I'm pretty dang good. Like, if I had to give this a grade, I would probably give it like a B, a pretty solid B, B plus, probably even. Let's give it a solid B plus. I quite liked it. And I hope this review was helpful for you guys in seeing whether or not you might like it. So you should let me know in those comments down below. As always, was this helpful for you? Have you tried out this CC cream? Technically it's not a foundation, I guess. What kind of skin do you have? How did it work for you or not work for you? Please let me know the things and let everyone else reading the comments know the things so that we can get a better opinion on the product down in the comments below. You can also let me know if there are any other products you want to see in upcoming weekly wears from me. You can also let me know if you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, whatever the case may be, by giving it a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. And if you're new here, hey, hi, hello, how are you? You can go ahead and subscribe. You can tippity tap that notification bell down below and become a member of my casserole family here on my channel. I'd love to have you here. And as always, I just hope you guys are all doing well. And until next time, just stay well until then. Bye!